Okay, folks, we have a tornado warning in effect until 5:30 for Franklin County, for Henry County. We've got a possible tornado. It just passed over the Martinsville area. Unsure if this actually verified or not, but let me zoom you in here on the high resolution radar. There was a strong circulation, or at least a decent circulation. This was at about 450. You can see there's a circulation right here just to the north of Ridgeway, and then as we moved into the Martinsville area, it was over at 459. It was over Martinsville right here, so the possible track of this thing was right through there in Martinsville, and now it has kind of evolved into more of a broader rotation, but it still exists here. We've got maybe another circulation in the southeastern Franklin County that's nearing the Pinhook area in Union Hall right now. There's also a circulation down across Henry County, so there's several areas of circulation here that we need to be watching, and you need to be taking cover in the basement or an interior room. In the Redwood area, I just had some very heavier rain move through the Franklin County area where my location is from this band that you just saw right there, and that thing is flying. This tornado is moving on to the northeast at about 60 miles per hour. Now, the tornado warning has just been canceled for the city of Martinsville. As I mentioned, the circulation is now past Martinsville, so for right now, you are in the clear, but the tornado watch is in effect now until noon for a good part of the area, basically from Lynchburg, and right now you've got a strong cell around Lynchburg here with some thunder and lightning around Rustburg and around the airport, but this will be in effect until noon for much of central Virginia. I just put that on my social media as well. There's a separate tornado warning down to the south that includes Greensboro and Winston-Salem. That's until 5:30 as well. For our friends in North Carolina, the strongest part of that storm is on Highway or Route 40, right in between Greensboro and Winston-Salem near Kernersville, and that also looks pretty dangerous to me. There's a tight circulation there that's showing up. Green going toward the radar to the north, the red going away from the radar. It's going to pass near Oak Ridge and Stokesdale here very shortly. We've got some wind damage reports. Down power lines in the Walkertown area. Lots of down tree reports here, down winds and tree reports here. But let's get back to the tornado warning. That's first and foremost here. And again, that continues until 5:30. Let's see if I have an update here. Flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Do we see any debris? I don't right now, but let me put this in motion and see if I see any that popped up. Really not on the radar. I don't see anything in terms of any debris. My base velocity here is just off the charts. Multiple trees blocking all of Route 220. I'm just getting a report just south of Rocky Mount. So this report coming over the scanner from my buddy Jason Halm as well, who's a firefighter, reports that on 220 south of Rocky Mount there are multiple trees down on 220. That was actually, Jason, not with the rotation. The rotation was south. This was with the line that just pushed out of Rocky Mount. We just had some really strong winds blow through Franklin County. You can see them start around Ferrum. Look at the yellow there. That increases now toward the Westlake Corner area, about to slam Smith Mountain Lake with about 60 mile per hour winds. In fact, the values are above 60. In some locations, they're up to 65 miles per hour coming in out of the west. These are straight line winds. The tornadic thunderstorm is still moving into southeastern Franklin County right now, and I still see some rotation. There's a little bit right now of rotation around the Union Hall area. It's going to go just to the southeast of my location here in Redwood, but there's two threats. You've got straight line winds here to the north, and you've got the possible tornado right here across the southeastern part of Franklin County. Now, if you're in Pittsylvania County, you also are under the tornado warning. That's for the extreme northeast tip of Pittsylvania County. But multiple trees are down on 220 as you go south of Rocky Mount. No one needs to be traveling this morning. There's also a severe thunderstorm warning in effect that remains in effect until 5:30. Okay, that's just a tornado warning coming off the scanner right now. I'm just listening for reports. The actual thunderstorm here with this the yellow polygons moving to the northeast at 35 miles per hour. 60-mile-per-hour winds are possible within this yellow area. So without the tornado warning, you are still looking at 60-mile-per-hour winds coming through with these straight line winds, and I can hear them outside the station again, moving through the region. So we've got a possible tornado near Greensboro. We've got straight line winds that are downing trees on 220 in Rocky Mount, blocking all lanes just south of Rocky Mount on 220 south. And now we're getting, you can see that in Lynchburg too, I'm seeing straight line winds moving into that area. Radar is picking this up at about 50 miles per hour. Let me go to WSV3. Here is the tornado possible. You can see the tornado watch that's also in effect across Farmville. This tornado watch in effect until noon includes Lynchburg, Danville, South Side, and as you go into South Hill, South Central Virginia, includes Richmond, Petersburg, Roanoke Rapids down through Raleigh, all the way down through Myrtle Beach, Wilmington, this area under the tornado watch as well. But the two warnings are actually in our area, and we expected that. I was just telling you how the tornado parameters were increasing across the area, and there you see it. Now I'm zooming in here on WSV3 to the possible circulation, and if it were to move through, it would be in about the next few minutes here across Smith Mountain Lake into the southern part of Bedford County. We've got another tornado warning. Let me see if I can get that open for you. Another tornado warning just issued down across the Eden, North Carolina area. So multiple tornado warnings are now coming out. This one right now, if I track the Eden tornado, would put it through Eden at about 5:31 in about 10 minutes or less. You don't have time to look for this because you're not going to see it. It's going to be rain wrapped, and this possible tornado goes right across the North Carolina state line, moving into the southeast part of Henry County, very close to Ridgeway, and then into the northeast part of, or the southwest part rather, of Pittsylvania County. Okay, so this one's also a dangerous situation. I'm going to read to you the text of this warning. National Weather Service has issued a tornado warning for southwestern Pennsylvania County, Henry County, western Rockingham County. This one is until 5:45. It's radar indicated rotation, but Eden, Wentworth, Mayodan, Madison, Stoneville, Axton, and Callens are in the path of this possible tornado as well. Two tornado warnings are in effect, one for Smith Mountain Lake, eastern Franklin County, as you go into Pittsylvania County and northern Henry County. The second one is also in effect for the rest of Henry County to the east into southern Pennsylvania County. Danville is going to be very close to the possible track of this as well. I'm going to go to my reflectivity and change it over to, I'm going to change over to gate-to-gate shear. We're going to try to see where we see the wind shear and declutter this map a little bit for you here. Also going to turn off mesoscale discussions. Just give me 1 second, folks. We'll get rid of some of the clutter for you. So there are your two tornado warnings. And you can see, again, the lightning that's increasing around Greensboro. We have 3 actually tornado warnings. One's just to the south of the area into Guilford County. And a severe thunderstorm warning surrounds all of this activity. I'm also getting several reports of flooding all over the area. We do also have evacuations ongoing in the Roanoke area where water is starting to come over some bridges, and they've evacuated the first floor of some apartment complex over the scanner I'm hearing. You can't go off those exact details, but that's out of the Roanoke Valley area. They were evacuating residents of low-lying areas in the Roanoke City area. Actually, I believe it was Roanoke City is where I was seeing that. You can see the gate-to-gate shear here showing up barely right there in the Stoneville area where we're seeing a little bit of rotation through this area. Let me look at, go back over the WSV3 here. And I'm going to look at storm relative velocity. See if I can get. It's hard to find rotation here, but the National Weather Service, they're specifically trained to really filter through these radar images. And these are the hard kind of tornadoes to predict because they're so rain wrapped, and they're being blown so fast by the upper level winds that it's really hard to even see these things, even with the radar. So if you're trying to go outside and look at this, it's hard to see anything going on too. So that's the danger that we've got. Plus we're in the middle of the morning, so early morning hours, and hopefully a lot of folks are waking up from their cell phones. Now that I've got this, I can see, I think, the better rotation as a new scan comes in. That would be just to the south of Stoneville. It's moving close to Eden. There's one area of rotation. There's another area of rotation here. Let me move this a little bit farther over so you can see it. North of Eden, just passing to the south of Ridgeway. And as the wind continues to blow here in Redwood, it's got up to about 15 miles per hour. I see 3 circulations. I see one here, and one here. Let me get my telestrator. There's a circulation there. There's another circulation here. There's another circulation right here. All right. And this is all moving off to the northeast at about 60 miles per hour, so it's moving pretty fast. We're in an environment that favors tornadoes. It may not look like it, it may not seem like it, but that is indeed the case. So you need to be taking shelter, get into a basement, if you don't have a basement, get under a workbench or some kind of sturdy table or something. I would do a bathtub or an interior hallway, close all the doors, get away from the windows, and take your shelter. Also, we've got until next 5 minutes of tornado warning in eastern Franklin County there as well. I'm going to turn the radar alpha on a little bit more here so I can see a little bit better what's going on. Do telestration, clear, paintbrush, telestration. All right. Just to give you an idea of the wind, and while we're seeing reports of trees down all over the area, let's probe some of these straight line winds. 73, 71, 74 miles per hour. Lynchburg, 73 miles per hour. Now, a lot of that's aloft, but it's not too far aloft. 59.4 miles per hour outgoing, 65 miles per hour outgoing. So these heavier squalls, they're bringing down this nearly hurricane force wind. So I'm getting more reports on the scanner as I'm talking about trees down across the road. Stand by. I know that 220 had that as well. Now we've got a flash flood warning. It's just been issued now for Bedford County, also for the rest of Franklin County, and going into Botetourt County now. This flash flood warning is in effect until 8:30. Automated rain gauges indicating heavy rain, probably on the order of 2 inches or so, 2 to 3 inches, another 1 to 2. Some areas are going to end up with 5, 6, 7 inches of rain by the time this is all said and done because it's raining just that hard. But those are your tornado warnings. And I'm going to turn off the radar here so you can get an idea of where your warnings are. And again, you want to be in your safe spots. I'm also seeing some activity in terms of more lightning around Lynchburg, South Boston, into the Gretna area in south into Pittsylvania County. There's another storm that's still tornadic coming out of Greensboro. So very high velocity data, and unfortunately this is what's producing the damage, straight line wind damage across the area. That's the flash flood warning coming in. We just got a wind report out of Martinsville, a tree blown onto a vehicle and a power line in Martinsville that occurred not too long ago. That was right when that tornado warning came out there in Martinsville. They've shaved this tornado warning to the south just a little bit here to the east of Ridgeway. It's right now looks like that circulation is very close to Eden. This may not be the initial circulation. There are actually, I mentioned, 2 other 4 circulations with this, but the strongest circulation is near Eden. So the winds are coming toward the radar here in Eden. They're going away from the radar just south of Eden. It passed just to, if there was a tornado, it passed very close to Stoneville, which is no stranger to tornadoes, but looks like it was just to the east of Stoneville and to the south of Stoneville. Sandy Level, though, you're in the danger zone right now. You need to be in your safe place in Sandy Level. Axton you do too, as well as Brownsville, and going into southern parts of Pittsylvania County here. Not yet into the city of Danville yet, but I do think Danville, you'll probably have some kind of tornadic activity. You're under a tornado watch until noon, but you'll at least have a tornado warning or severe thunderstorm warning in Danville not too long from now. So Danville, kind of be on guard. You need to be on guard anywhere really east of the Blue Ridge Parkway. And west of the Blue Ridge Parkway, you need to be getting the higher ground. We tell you in tornadoes to get to the lowest part of your basement or home, but in this situation too, you want to also be away from windows all over the area because they could blow out in these winds. These are not ordinary thunderstorm winds that you can expect. These are damaging hurricane force winds that are coming down in a straight line fashion across the area with these bands of heavier rainfall. So there may not even be a severe thunderstorm warning out where you are, but if it rains hard, don't expect to see just light winds. You're going to probably get 40 mile per hour plus winds, maybe over 50 to 60 miles per hour, and in some cases 70 to 80 to 90 mile per hour winds can't be ruled out. Now we've let the tornado warning expire at 5:30 for eastern Franklin County for right now. That's the good news. The bad news is I do see some convergence here into and maybe a little bit of circulation in southern Bedford County. So watching this too near Evington and Lynchburg, you need to be on guard because our models were hinting at this yesterday that this would be a zone to watch into the afternoon hours or at least into the mid-morning hours. It looks like it's coming through a little earlier than expected. I haven't even looked at the near-term models to see if this dry slot that comes in behind this morning may energize more storms late this morning into the afternoon. But right now the threat is increasing as we expected. It's a little bit early, but nonetheless, this is the concern. More lightning showing up around Sandy Level. We look for lightning because that is a sign of a healthy updraft. It's a sign of a lot of energy in the storm. Correlation coefficient, still a lot of cranberry on the screen. Cranberry is a good thing if you don't want to see debris, and we don't want to see debris. We've got little hints of rotation here around the Eden area, getting into Sandy Level. These are the kinds of tornadoes that can be very small, very hard. You notice you don't see any hook echo here, but within these areas, it's a lot like when a tropical system moves in. You can see, get what we call, what some people like to say are spin-ups, but this would actually be the definition of a spin-up, where it's a damaging tornado that actually spins in within the rainfall, and not the supercellular kind of long track tornadoes that we sometimes see across the area too. That said, that makes them almost that much more dangerous because they're so hard to pinpoint. Notice the clusters of lightning there with this leading edge of very strong wind here showing up in the yellow. Again, that's wind of 60 to 70 miles per hour around Union Hall and Manita, and that continues moving off to the east now near Lynchburg and Alta Vista. I'm checking some of these observations too to see if we have any bad wind reports across the area. Franklin and Wanji streets in Roanoke are flooded again. That's probably where the first floor was evacuated there near the Ramada Inn. I feel like that's where Roanoke City, all that activity was going on the scanner. Going back on the rotation right now, just past Eden now, I still see some rotation right through here, just south of Sandy Level. It'll be moving into southern Pittsylvania County in the near future here. Let me pull it up for you on the weather tap radar just to give you a better vantage point. Some people like different vantage points in different radar systems, so I'm going to show you everything I can. There's Eden, there's Danville. Let me go in. I'm going to put on some highways for you here so we can also see on the street level what's going on. And notice all the lightning coming out of the Greensboro area as well as the system continues to kind of energize here. We're getting radar updates every couple of minutes also with this. So this is our tornado warning that again continues. Swansonville, Hinesville, Mount Cross, Cascade area definitely. Eden, just north of Happy Home, just outside of the Danville area. and that's until 5:45. That's for another 12 minutes or so. We've got a new severe thunderstorm warning that's now in effect for Appomattox, Campbell, going through Pittsylvania County, including Charlotte County, Halifax County, just about the whole eastern part of the area now under a severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect until 6:30 for another hour or so. The National Weather Service, they're being proactive. I like that. And they're starting to put these warnings out well in advance of these systems. Here are the wind reports. The tree blown down onto a vehicle and power line in the city of Martinsville. Trees down earlier. This was earlier this morning. At about 3 o'clock in the morning, we've got some trees down. We've also, again, a hearing out of the Franklin County area, and I'll wait for my first responder sources to maybe send me some pictures and see what's going on in Franklin County on 220 South coming through southern Franklin County. There's been south of Rocky Mount a lot of trees down apparently on 220 blocking traffic there. Fire department on the scene trying to clear that up for you. And again, the flash flood warnings that are in effect for a good part of the area there as well. Still a tight circulation with still some lightning. Let's go to our live radar here. We'll zoom you back in. Here's the new severe thunderstorm warning. Again, that's until 6:30. That's right up against Lynchburg. That includes all of Campbell County, all of Appomattox County, part of Charlotte County here. Also, with this, we've got South Boston, Halifax, and the most of Pittsylvania County. And I mentioned Danville would be in a warning soon, and there you go. Danville is in the warning. There is our possible tornado, again, near the Eden area as everything continues to move on through. Again, you can get you can get to my YouTube channel right now. Go on YouTube, search Jamie Singleton. You won't get the commentary from me, but you can get a live radar loop over the past 60 minutes that has all these watches and warnings on it, in addition to the significant tornado parameter, which, by the way, let's plot. Just heard of lightning possibly striking a residence in Campbell County. This is the significant tornado parameter, which again is starting to increase out of North Carolina. You can see these values. We'll probe them here, getting up to 2.8, 2.7 to about 1.0 in Danville. So again, we've got tornado warnings out with values as low as 1. Over the next few hours, especially in this tornado watch area, the significant tornado parameters are expected to jump up between 5 and 7 in some cases, and those are very high. Possible indices that would indicate possible tornadoes. This is the Energy Helicity Index. It's another index that we use to measure the potential for tornadoes, and you can see how that is surging north as well. So I'll put this into motion over the past 3 hours, and you can see how the Energy Helicity Index has increased along with our coverage of tornado warnings. You see how it just surges north right there with that south wind. I can put the wind arrows on as well, and you can see how we are starting to see, as we expected, the tornado parameters to increase across our area. Put up the radar data alpha there, and I'm going to go to gate-to-gate shear. Got a new tornado warning now for Danville. Notice that's just as the again, the tornado watch comes out as those values surge north. Let's get to this tornado warning in the Danville area. And let me get rid of, it's radar indicated. Let's track it for you here. I believe that's the circulation right there, and I can see that wind shear. I can see it. That's not good. Get that brighter. All right, do you see the red right there and the blue? This is wind shear. There's also a little circulation right here, but that's the possible circulation that we're seeing with this possible tornado in southern parts of Pittsylvania County now. going to go and we're going to read you the information on that. So this is our possible tornado where you see the lightning. I'm going to put my rotation on so it highlights. Right there's your possible tornado. And reading you the tornado warning verbatim here, it's until 6 o'clock in the morning for another 22 minutes. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado is located over Cascade, moving northeast at 65 miles per hour. These are flying, and it's impossible to outrun these, so you just need to be in your safe place all over Danville, Blair's, as well, and that still includes the same area that's under the initial tornado warning that will probably expire here in a little bit, but the new one now coming out for Dry Fork, Blair's, up the Spring Garden, just south of Chatham. Chatham and Gretna, you should still be sheltering in place, as well as the Campbell County area because of these straight line winds. Here comes the storm report, by the way. One of them out of Franklin County, tree down at the intersection of Virginia Avenue and Oak Level Road. But again, Danville, Eden, Mayfield, Dry Fork, Draper, Westover Hills in the path of this tornado. Take cover now. Take cover now, away from windows. If you can get into a basement and get underneath a table or a workbench, do that. The crawl space up underneath your stairs can be a good place to go to. You want to be away from windows, have as many walls between you and the outside as possible. If you don't have a basement, if you live in a mobile home, sometimes the best thing to do is to get out of the mobile home and lie into a ditch. You're going to get soaking wet. But if you can get into a low spot in the ditch, it's actually safer than being in a mobile home. If you are in just a regular home and you don't have a basement, get into a bathroom or an interior hallway away from windows, cover your head and crouch down, get as low as possible until the threat has passed. This tornado warning is in effect until 6 o'clock, the top of an hour. We've got 20 minutes to go on this, and the rotation continues to look fairly impressive. One of the better circulations that unfortunately we've seen all morning. And you can see it there on the base velocity here. Green's going toward the radar, which is up here near the Computers and Roanoke logo in that direction. And then you've got winds going away from the radar there as well. That coincides with where we're seeing the lightning spike. That's the possible rotation there. I'm looking at other fields that would show me possible debris, and there is possible debris in the air now. Let's see. And it's not hail, so this looks like there could be debris in the air on the correlation coefficient. This could be the real deal now. That's just moved out of southern Pittsylvania County. This is a very, very serious tornado warning. Looks like there's debris with this showing up on the correlation coefficient. That indicates to me that there's debris in the air. I look at the ZDR product. If this was hail, it would be close to 0, but it's a very high number, which indicates it could be debris. The very low correlation coefficient means that whatever the radar's hitting is not rain. It's something else. It could be bricks, it could be splinters of wood, it could be leaves, it could be anything. But it looks like there's some debris in the air along with that rotation going into southern Pennsylvania County. So this is what could be now a debris ball developing near the Brosville area. Is it Brosville or Brosville? I'm not sure. But it continues for that area as well. It looks like I've got another tornado warning here. There are two that are overlapping. Folks, this is the real deal, I believe, in southern Pennsylvania County. There's also a hook around Callens. Could be a little bit of rotation there, but this circulation is now increasing to the south of 58. It's going to cross 58 here very, very soon within the next 5 or 10 minutes. So hopefully no one is crossing, is in the area there. You can see just on the past few scans, there it is. There's the possible tornado, and it looks like it's kicked up some debris, as I mentioned, and we put on the scan on, and you can still see some rotation there. Still a lowering of the right through here. It may have been a brief touchdown where you see the lightning, where you see that cranberry color become red and yellow. That's where there could be debris. Storm relative velocity still looks impressive to me. Let me read you this tornado warning, see if there's an update on it. 5:36. That's the same time as this tornado warning, so this could be the real deal. Let me put out a regular update here if I can. Okay, so bear with me. I'm going to put this out for you, and I'm going to keep the radar up. I'm going to put this out on social media real quick. I'm going to keep the radar up for you off another source. Let me point out some cities real fast. Notice all these wind reports coming down. We got more trees down in Figsboro, south of Figsboro, Terry's Mountain, and Bears Mill Road. These are straight line winds more than likely. They could be tornadic. That's where the warnings were earlier. Danville, Surrey Hills, Stokesland would be in the area of this. It looks like it just crossed 58 as well. This is the possible circulation right through here. If I look at the velocity data, again, that's the possible circulation there. Let me add another one. Let me add correlation coefficient here. Give me 1 second. And we're back to now the regular colors, but if you go back a few frames, we did have a lowering of that correlation coefficient. And you can see the rotation right there. Just lost my level 2. Stony Mill, New Mount Cross, Lanners Mill, Pleasant Gap, Mount Herman, Southern Pennsylvania County. You are in the path of a tornado. And I still see a circulation here north of Highway 49, just out of the city limits on the northwest side of Danville here. Mount Herman, Highway 41, you want to be seeking shelter right now. Take action. Don't just sit there and watch the television and watch the radar. Take action. If you already have determined that you're in this area, your phone's gone off, take action. You know, you can carry me with you if you want with your cell phone, but you need to be getting off your keister and getting down into a basement or a low spot. And I say that because in social science experiments, a lot of people will wait on the tornado to get there before they take action, and by then it's too late. That's how people die. So just to be very blunt with you, you have to take action beforehand. Dry Fork is also in the path of this tornado, as is Ringgold. I'm going to save this image, radar only. And just give me a second here. Tornado warning remains in effect for the city of Danville, southeastern Pennsylvania County. This was the 5:44 update 2 minutes ago. Dry Fork, Blairs, Danville, Ringgold, Westover Hills, Keeling, includes the Danville Airport. Take cover now, move to a basement of an interior room, lowest level of a sturdy building, and avoid those windows. If you're outdoors in a mobile home or in a vehicle, move to the lowest substantial shelter and protect yourself from flying debris. If you're trapped in a car, sometimes what you can do is you can actually, it's not advised, it's a last resort. You can make sure your seatbelt's on and get down below the windows and use the cage of the car to protect you. The car may go flying, but the cage may protect you. That's not an ideal situation, I know, but that sometimes is what you have to do. Going here to my Facebook, I'm going to put out the text here. And going to my Twitter real quick. Tornado warning remains in effect. That's until 6 o'clock for the Danville area. And again, a very tight circulation just to the south of Vance, Sharon, Stony Mill, that area. moving northeast at 65 miles per hour. It's near Westover Hills. Okay, I've got that put out there. So let's go back to the high-res radar. Get the most latest image. I'm still seeing a lowering here of the correlation coefficient near the Blair's area. It coincides to where that lightning is occurring too. There's also around the Chatham area, it looks like there could be a little circulation there. Yeah, there are two circulations. There's one south of Chatham now. That's broad, but there could be something here in Chatham. These are, this is honestly a storm that could have multiple tornadoes with it. There are all kinds of little circulations in here, and you've got incredible straight line winds that continue coming in from the west, gusting to 38 miles an hour in Brookneal from straight line winds right now that are producing the damage. Terry's Mountain Road, tree and blow into a vehicle, tree and power line down across Villa Heights in Henry County in the Martinsville area. Lots of trees down. Again, still seeing very concerning returns out of southern Pittsylvania County. I'm going to go to one panel. There's the regular radar. So if there's a tornado, it's right here. Blair's would be right here coming out of Danville. There's your possible circulation. Your possible, well, definite circulation, your possible possible tornado. I'm going to put on my rotational tracks and get rid of mesoanalysis data. Turn on storm or the base velocity here. So your possible circulation is on 58. Should be north of 58 now. It's coming out of across Route 41 in Pittsylvania County. Popping on the 30-minute rotation. I want to see if this has a history, if we can see that history there. And you can see it through Eden. Right there is where the circulation tracked, right across Eden as it went into southwestern Pittsylvania County. It was right about here that we saw possible debris on the radar. And now around the Chatham area, again, I saw a second circulation not too long ago, but those are the rotational tracks. This is the low-level shear. That's current. What I may do is use my other source for that. Put on my NextRad data once again, and we're going to pull up the correlation coefficient. New data just now coming in. And the good news is I don't see anything jumping out at me with this latest scan. You would be looking for a yellow spot or something, and we'll put this in motion. You can see over the past 30 minutes or so, we definitely did have some kind of a lowering there of the correlation coefficient as it moved right across southern Pennsylvania County in 58. You can barely see it right there on this particular image, but it was there. It looks like there was at least a little bit of debris kicked up, possibly right through there. As you watch that in motion, and you see, kind of follow that arrow. Just to the north of that arrow, is where we had the possible circulation. So this is going to continue now for shut up right up until, I believe, what, 6 o'clock? That's where we had that. And then we've got the severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect until 6:30. We now have a new severe thunderstorm warning. Let me turn off this for a second. This new severe thunderstorm warning is up around the Farmville area, north of Farmville. It's in effect for Buckingham County until 6:45. Severe thunderstorms near Schuler at Spring Mills, moving northeast at 50, 60-mile-per-hour winds possible in Buckingham, Dillon. You're in the path of this severe thunderstorm warning. And again, you've got a tornado watch in effect until noon. So any severe thunderstorm warning, that includes all of Lynchburg, or just outside of Lynchburg, the Appomattox, Buckingham counties, down through Pittsylvania County, Charlotte County, Campbell County, all of Campbell County, most of Halifax County, and part of, again, Charlotte County, and getting down into North Carolina here, into Caswell County, and into Rockingham County. You're still under the threat of tornadoes with any of these squalls moving in. Notice there is a back edge here, which could be good news for the flooding and a good news for the severe thunderstorm situation for now. But I want to see this here. We got the latest here. I want to see if that could flare back up here. I don't know if it will or not. So Danville now in the clear of that tornado warning. At 5:54, we've got a severe thunderstorm warning, tornado warning continuing for the next 5 minutes until 6 o'clock. A severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado over Keeling or near Blair's, moving northeast at 65 miles per hour. There's your rotation over the past hour. And you can follow a couple of tracks here. You can see one went through Martinsville, and look where the wind damage reports are coming in from. Right there where the rotation was. Now, the wind reports out of Rocky Mountain, southern Franklin County, have been more associated with, in my opinion, straight line winds. But you've got the new tornado warning that, not the new warning, but what's left of the new update here, and you can see the tracks right through there. It went out of Mayodan, just south of Mayodan, through Eden, possible rotation here, and I saw a little bit around the Brosville area into northwest Danville, into now Blair's. And there's where your possible rotation is right now. Right over Blair's. Spring Garden would be also in the path of this. The other red area here is a tornado watch that's in effect until noon, by the way, outside of this. So you can see from Richmond to almost Virginia Beach, including Greensboro, Raleigh, Greenville, Wilmington, under a tornado watch. This is in effect until noon. Tornadoes likely with a couple of intense tornadoes possible, and those are the EF2s, EF3s in this area. But as we go in right now, we still have that for the next 4 minutes now, circulation over Blair's. If I continue to see that circulation, I would not be surprised if the National Weather Service extends the tornado warning for that area. It'll be interesting to see. I don't have NWS chat up, because frankly, I don't really have time to read all that. I go off their Twitter mainly. But there's still a little bit of a circulation here. You would have winds going toward the radar there and away from the radar there. Okay, so there's your possible rotation into southern Pittsylvania County. Now what we're seeing up here on the velocity is just a lot of straight line winds coming in from this direction. Let me draw that in yellow. Straight line winds that came through southern Franklin County, and they lead right up against the Highway 29 corridor, but into Franklin County and 220, that's where we've had reports of damage along 220, and again several wind reports coming in of some damage there as well. Tornado warning has expired for Pittsylvania County, according to this Twitter feed. Let me make sure. Now we've got a new tornado warning, though, for southeast Caswell County until 6:45. So we have expired the one that you're seeing on your screen now. You're going to see another one come out in just a second here for this circulation. And this is southwest of Yanceyville. There's a circulation right in through here that the National Weather Service is watching. I'll put up the correlation coefficient. It's hard to tell anything off of that right now. It's too far away. There's going to be a new tornado warning that's coming out right now for that part of Caswell County. And now we've extended the tornado warning. That includes Halifax County now up to Brookneal. So that did not expire, actually. They've got a new tornado warning now. National Weather Service has that circulation. And let me draw that for you here. So it would be about right there. And that circulation is moving off to the north and to the east. We're going to put regular radar data for you on. I want to kind of show you too that you've just got so much straight line wind activity right now occurring with this. So you've got this line all the way through here, and then off to the east of that you've got this huge straight line wind threat where you're seeing winds gusting up to hurricane force, which would be 74 miles per hour or greater possible there. That's going to do a number on trees and power outages as well. We've got two circulations now with these new tornado warnings. They've also updated the severe thunderstorm warning. Let's go to radar scope here. Got some wind reports coming in around the Danville area as well. It looks to me, if I go to see if I can get both on the screen here. I'm not sure if I can with my screen sharing. Oh, I see. It's going to let me do one off the air here. Impressive rotation now south of Greensboro as well with that. That's impressive. Down in North Carolina, Guilford County, especially to be, what's that, Siler City? Liberty, North Carolina. Very impressive rotation nearing Burlington, North Carolina. I'm waiting. I'm almost surprised that my tornado warning isn't up here yet on radar scope. So we'll go back to this source here. So southeast Caswell County and in the Pittsylvania County and Halifax County, we are under a tornado warning. You can see that we have some rotation still being picked up here on these rotational tracks. That's why the tornado warning has been extended for this area. I'm going to read you the text of that's in effect until 6:30 for another 28 minutes. This is in effect for, again, Charlotte County, Pittsylvania County, Halifax County. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located over Keeling or near Blair's, moving northeast at 65 miles per hour. Phoenix, Ingram, Nathalie, Mount Laurel, Java, Leda, and Crystal Hill in the path of this. Again, take cover now into an interior room, basement. Protect yourself from flying debris in this area. You should also be doing the exact same thing within this severe thunderstorm warning area that includes Dillwyn up across Buckingham County and a good part of the Lynchburg South Side area under a severe thunderstorm warning. The severe thunderstorm warning is in effect until 6:30, and that is for 60 mile per hour plus winds. Southwest Caswell County, here's the rotation north of Burlington, North Carolina, but it still looks fairly impressive to me. And the real rotation right here, look at this. Greensboro to Burlington, just north of Liberty, North Carolina. Now that's some rotation. And that's the most impressive that I see on the map right now. Let me read you that tornado warning that's been issued by Raleigh, North Carolina. That remains in effect until 6:15 p.m. for southwest Alamance, northeastern Randolph, southeastern Guilford County, and northwestern Chatham counties. Flying debris would be dangerous. That's the Randleman area, Siler City, Liberty, Ramsar, Franklinville, Staley, Climax, Forest Oaks, Snow Camp, and Randleman Regional Reservoir Marina is in the path of a very dangerous possible tornado that's really got a lot of rotation with it if you look at the radar data. And that's remapped radar data that we're looking at in that area, meaning that it's not as high resolution as, say, this radar data, which we're going to show you right now. Good news right now so far is that we've got a back edge to this now moving through Rocky Mount, and boy, this is flying. It's not even 6:30 and already there's a back edge. Now, I don't think it's over with, though. I think we could see more activity out behind this, but we're going to wait and see. We're going to wait and see. There's a lot of shear that's just accompanying all this stuff, and it's really hard to get a good handle on the circulations. They're very much like almost like a tropical system, very low to the ground. Probably underneath a lot of this radar data is where the actual circulations are. Let's see if I can find, okay, so this was it here. This is what the Weather Service is looking at near Blair's. And you can see it moved north of Blair's. So Blair's, it's now past you, the circulation is, but watch for straight line winds in Blair's. And then we kind of lose that a little bit. It looks like there's a little bit of broad circulation near Volans, just south of Volans to Mount Airy. And there's still some broad circulation here. So we could have that either underneath the radar, or we could have it tighten back up. Sometimes these things will cycle as well. And still seeing tremendous straight line winds coming through the area. Now down here across North Carolina, look at this circulation. Again, this is the one south of Burlington. And then we've got another tornado warning that's in effect for southeast Caswell County, south of Yanceyville. There's a circulation right through here. Here are some more locations in the tornado warning that's again in effect until 6:30. Halifax County. This includes 360 as you're coming out of the Danville area, Keeling, Red Oak Hollow, Henry's Mill. I don't see a lot of rotation, but that's not to say there's not a tornado up underneath this data. Okay, the radar data will get confused sometimes in that it can't see the actual what's going on the ground. That's why we rely on storm chasers and spotters. But there's not a lot of chasing going on today because of COVID-19 and the timing of the day. It's hard to see these things anyway. So that's the concern. One thing I really need to do is look at future radar. If you give me just 1 second, I want to see if this really is the back edge going through, or if now we're looking at maybe a secondary development here with time. So pardon me while I come off the tornado warning for a second. So this would be the NAM. If you go, and right now, what is it, 6 o'clock, so 10Z, this is right now. It has the back edge here, and it has more redevelopment off to the west, although that hasn't occurred yet. But I would say possible redevelopment out behind this. And then you've got more showers and storms that skirt the area up through noon. But everything is moving so fast, the models are having a hard time keeping up with it. That could be a good thing. That could be a good thing. Let's see. This is the HER model. It has the it has what's going on right now. Now, what's it have out behind us? Anything? Not much, but it does develop a few more storms out here by 10 o'clock in the morning. I do think we're going to have to watch for a second line of storms behind the one it's moving through right now. And whatever boundary this leaves behind could get interesting too, because I believe our parameters still remain. If I look at the significant tornado parameters, right now they're highest, and they actually go up throughout the rest of the morning. So anything that redevelops out behind here would have a lot of wind shear to work with as well, and that's a concern. Let me go to the RAP model. This is yet another high resolution model. It's got what's going on over us now, clears it out. There's a subtle redevelopment out behind it, so it wouldn't be totally out of the woods out behind this, okay? That's through 8 a.m. for the next couple of hours here. And again, watching whatever could come in behind this would be concerning. Let me just go to, we don't have forecast soundings on the HER. Okay. My apologies. Most of the rest of the areas under a flash flood warning or flood advisory, lots of roads are flooded out. But this is the latest that we have. Still a tornado warning in effect for Halifax County. Broad rotation right now. Latest update was at 556. Correlation coefficient. I see a possible lightning of it around here, south of Olins. There, not a lot of rotation co-located with it though. Man, it's just so hard to see anything. So that, again, could be good news. We still have this circulation, too, that we're watching south of Yanceyville in North Carolina, and a lot of lightning going on here. Prospect Hill, Jericho, Top Knot, Leesburg, Height Towers, and Baines under this tornado warning until 6:45 in the morning. Looks like another circulation here near Milton into the Milton area. There's a possible circulation developing there. So many minute circulations, and any of them could be an actual tornado. Now, this one right now around Burlington is looking pretty serious. 26 miles an hour, Burlington Airport. This is down in North Carolina. This one's moving northeast at 60 miles per hour as well. This one's the most impressive. If we were to look at the rotation, you can see right there. Very impressive. Again, I continue to see multiple small circulations. Bolins, right now you've got a little broad circulation going toward Brookneal. You've got another circulation south of Bolins. And you've got a new one, or a couple of circulations near Yanceyville and Milton. There's also some very broad rotation around Virgilina. And these may be those supercells we were worried about now coming out of the Greensboro-Durham area. Greensboro, Burlington, the Durham, Chapel Hill. This may be the next area to watch that would get up around Virgilina and Halifax. But at the moment, we do have a tornado warning in effect for Halifax County. That's until 6:30. This is the 6:10 update as of, let me go live again here on Instagram. Okay, Instagram, we're back live again. Sorry about that. Tornado warning as of 6:10. This is the update now for this Halifax County tornado. You've got a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located near Leda or 8 miles northeast of Ingram, moving northeast at 65 miles per hour. I'm going to see if I can get my bearings here on this thing. I'm going to put a marker here. Yes, and mine also has 65, so you have to adjust the storm relative velocities. Power poles broken down in Pittsylvania County. This is a brand new report coming in 4 miles north of Keeling. So we may have had something there. And again, I was watching possible rotation in that area and possible debris being kicked up in that area as well. Looking at just regular base velocity, though, there's a lot of straight line winds coming in here. And that could have been associated with the rear flank downdraft that came around the bottom side of this. So anytime you have rotation and you've got the back edge of that, you can get straight line winds or supercells, almost like a big cold front and warm front system. Ahead of it, you've got a push of air out of the south in your inflow notch, and then to the south or into the west of it, you've got your cooler air that comes in behind it that can produce some straight line wind damage. Near Volans now, Crystal Hill, Halifax County, seeing some rotation. Still seeing rotation. You've got your reds and your greens still located together. The only thing I don't like about this in terms of tracking it is that we are looking at the atmosphere at about 5,000 feet up, 5,500 feet up. And if there's a tornado, it's probably only about 1,000 feet up. So we're overshooting the tornado, and that's just the way it is. We can't really see much else from that unless I go to the Raleigh radar. And let me check that out, because we may have something on Raleigh that Blacksburg on the radar may not be showing us here. All right, so I'm looking at these same storms from the Raleigh radar because I want to get an idea of, I can see it better from Raleigh. I see a circulation around Volans, looks like. And I've got the other circulation north of Elmo here. Crystal Hill, Halifax County, this is the new area. And again, the warning keeps getting trimmed away as these storms continue to move up. But Charlotte Courthouse, you're kind of in the path of this. Also south of Brookneal, you're in the path of this as well. Java, Crystal Hill, Phoenix in the path of the tornado. I see a circulation right there south of Brookneal. I also see another one to the west of Halifax, but kind of broad. And I see yet another circulation near Danville. There are so many little circulations here, even outside of the tornado warnings. My hat's off to the National Weather Service for doing the hard job of putting these warnings together. It's hard to see more of a convergence or straight line wind situation. This may be an outflow dominant storm now in Burlington, North Carolina. These are what's called quasi-stationary or QLCS type events where we got storms spinning within the line. And I've criticized folks for using that term before, but it's actually applicable to what's going on now. These are spin-ups along the line. They're not discrete supercells. They're not by themselves. They are within the line itself. But that's actually better circulation, and this is at about the same area. Let me turn the scanner down for a second. That the Blacksburg radar showing the circulation as well. But I'm going to put on my track here so I can get my storm motion. I'll put a marker here. And I'll put a marker, measure storm motion for marker. So now we have a storm relative velocity. Okay, this takes into account the storm motion separate from the environmental wind. And there you see the red and the green close together south of Brookneal in Halifax County. That's a dangerous situation. We've got the new tornado warning that's been trimmed back now to include that circulation just as we were talking about it. So right on cue. All right. So Pittsylvania County now, outside of this area, has been canceled for the time being. This is the main circulation south of Brookneal. And it continues 618 moving near Nathalie here, moving to the northeast at 60 miles per hour. Phoenix, Nathalie, and Aspen are in the track of this tornado. And you can see again the circulation there on your screen. But again, there's still a second circulation and even a third one, some appendages down here that need to be watched too around Milton as well, Elmo, north of that area. Not much hail in these. It's wind that we're most concerned with. And a big, huge severe thunderstorm warning continues in the yellow area there across much of the eastern part of the region. Let me go back over to my iPad here. And see, this is getting into what we call range folding, so it's hard to see a circulation, but again, it looks like it's on the Blacksburg radar. It's right here to the south and now to the east of Brookneal, southeast of Brookneal, and there's the new warning there that has come in. I'm going to switch over on this one to Raleigh as well because it shows up so much better off the Raleigh radar actually. All right, so there's Brookneal. And it just 501, it just crossed that if there was a tornado. Also, it's about to cross 360 in the Brookneal. Let me do this. And my colors appear to be backwards on this, but I believe that's going to be correct when we see the radar site update here. Here's your circulation. Tiny tornado warning. Tornadoes are tiny by nature. They are rare. And where they do hit, they can cause a lot of destruction. But outside of that area, it's more of a straight line wind situation. It's just getting harder and harder to find any distinguishable circulations. It looks like there could be another one aloft about near 460 between Appomattox and Farmville, so I'd watch out in that area too. All of this line here, all of this right through here, everywhere there is where we're seeing things starting to spin up. And so that's concerning, okay? And within that, you got straight line winds. I believe here in the next few minutes we may see that. I'm not sure if they're going to continue that warning or not. I'm going to switch over to the Blacksburg radar in that same area. It's just getting so hard to see any circulation here, so it's hard to tell. I'll be honest, it's very hard to tell. But regardless, there's going to be wind damage because we've just got so much wind energy to work with in the atmosphere. Haven't seen a whole lot of lightning with these storms so far, but lots of heavy rain, lots of flooding, and lots of tree down reports here coming in. This is a path if we were to continue seeing any kind of a circulation here. It will be moving on to the northeast very quickly. Don't see much. I'll be honest, I don't see much right now. I think we may have had something a little earlier, though, out of that one, as those wind reports continue to come in. All right, so I'm going to hop off here for a second, get regrouped, and I'll let you know about more warnings here coming up.